Hey, I'm Guy.
I'm John.
Our YouTube channel, we're glad you're here. If you like the video, like it and subscribe to this channel.
Podcast also below in the description. Subscribe to it, share with your friends.
Article from on3.com, thewolverine.com. Chris Ballas reporting that Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh will sign with the Vikings. I'll read to you, John. Michigan head coach Jim Harbaugh is headed to Minnesota for a Wednesday interview, but multiple sources say it's a formality. He's there with plans to sign a deal to become the coach. Harbaugh was not at his office at Schembechler Hall today. Other sources told thewolverine.com that while he didn't address the team yesterday, he did say some goodbyes and thank yous.
Is it pretty crazy to take a job February 1st, or is this hiring cycle one of the more bizarre hiring cycles ever? It's just elongated a little bit because the timing feels off.
The timing definitely feels off, but a lot of these hires, the timing feels off. Feels like maybe, we don't know. It would be interesting if there's a report. Was the Vikings his primary hope? Did he want the Raider job and the Raiders said no? Did the Raiders prefer Josh McDaniels? I think what became clear after the early January report, remember, it's almost been a month since Bruce Feldman reported that he might go to the Raiders. When people initially for a couple of days said, oh, this is just contract leverage and negotiation with Michigan. After a week and then a week and a half and then 2 weeks, I said, this is not leverage. I think he really wants to go to the NFL because if it were leverage play, where's the contract? The contract came and went. Contract extension time, I guess, never comes and goes. There's always time. But it was, I don't think about that. Then somebody said to me that they'd heard through friends of Harbaugh's that no one really knows what he's up to. Jim, as you've mentioned, does not have an agent, kind of acts on his own. So it makes it hard for things. You know, the messages that get out are the one Jim wants out, and there was really nothing getting out.
One take I have, if I'm Jim Harbaugh, Michigan State signed their coach to $95 million, and that started kind of becoming the going rate. I'm pretty sure Brian Kelly signed over $90 million. Those guys are brand
I think
new.
Lincoln Riley's deal was at least $90 million.
Wow, like 120 if you factor in the buying of Holmes.
Well, remember that story was refuted. That story said it was 110 plus Holmes.
So the going rate went from like 50 million, game changer for coaches, to double pretty quickly. Basically, all those guys were new. Like when Matt Rule got signed by David Tepper, he was brand new. Jim has been there for 7 years. Now this year was awesome, but it was by far his best year. I wonder if they just go, we cannot sign him to $90 million. But if you're Jim and your ego, and let's face it, like you go, what has Mel Tucker done that I haven't done? I mean, no, he beat me, but I accomplished more this season. I won the conference. That was kind of the breaking point. That like they were never going to give him the going rate. Like that is the going rate now for guys of just Jim Harbaugh's name. And ultimately that's when he pivoted. That's just my kind of theory. That they were never going to give him 90. They might have been cool to give him 45, but Jim's ego could never have signed that.
The other thing that what Mel Tucker had was other job offers, right?
LSU was sniffing around, right?
Yeah. So Michigan State was in a tough spot. Michigan, on the other hand, Jim, what was Jim going to leave to coach LSU? No. He's at Michigan, right? He's not leaving Michigan to coach LSU. Maybe he would have wanted to. I don't know.
But that would have been wanted him, right?
No, the NFL made a ton of sense for Harbaugh. He had great success, as he would say, great with a capital G, with the 49ers. And I do think the Vikings match from this standpoint, just as the Raiders did. The Vikings are a bright lights, major league franchise, right? In a major league, which the NFL is. The Vikings are a legitimate, heavy hitting. Just think about what they just had a very good coach. Have for most teams at average year. For them, it was time to move on. And I think given what they have in Minnesota, it is in some ways Niners-ish. Now, the Niners team he took over was 3-13 the year before. But Kirk Cousins is exactly the type of quarterback Jim Harbaugh can go to the playoffs.
I agree. And I think you start looking, the Bears are in shambles. Lions are terrible. And I think we all believe that Aaron Rodgers is going to get traded and not be there. So if that does happen, if Aaron is moved, wouldn't you say the Minnesota Vikings would be the betting favorite to win that division?
Yeah. Yes. Here's the other thing.
Jim and Quessy, little weird fit, wouldn't you say? Analytical GM, first time. Now, they would have crossed over in San Francisco, even though he was brand new then for those couple. I think he got to the Niners in 2013, so he would have seen Jim for a couple years.
Well, is Quessy hiring Jim Harbaugh?
This does feel like an owner hire, doesn't it?
It's odd that Jim would work for a GM, though, which is, I think, what would happen. Yeah.
I think Jim answers to old Ziggy.
Well, yeah, Jim answers to no man is what everybody at Michigan would probably tell you, right?
But
The other interesting thing is like Jim doesn't stay places very long. Michigan was a long. What's the next job for Jim Harbaugh? I don't want to get ahead of ourselves here, but
the thing with though, if you're let's just see how he does. There is a chance it doesn't work. Like eventually he's going to get to. Sometimes in the NFL, if Cousins were to get hurt, something were to happen. Cousins they do have some holes. What if Jim is good? That makes Kwesi immediately a good GM. Part of having a good coach, unlike you see all these other guys, like Ryan Poles could look like an idiot in 2 years. Kwesi could look like, how about this analytical genius with Harbaugh, right?
the one thing is also clear: the Vikings fans now have two of the greatest sayings. They have Skull, and I love who's got it better than us. Nobody.
You think he brings that back, or is that retired?
I don't know. Why not? It's so good.
You can't see Justin Jefferson and Cousins in there like that?
I think it's pretty good. Get ready for all the Kirk. You thought Kyle Shanahan loved Kirk Cousins? Wait till you hear Jim Harbaugh talk about Kirk Cousins.
You like that?